I'm also excited about my nails. I got Black History nails.
I love that. So you
So,
got Black History nails, and I got
oh,
Valentine's
see, these are
nails.
the places we are in our lives. You're
Black
happily married. I'm black as hell. That's where we're at.
Look, the combo though works. The combo.
Flesh. Ring so big, you can't even see my face. Ballin' on the court, make 'em chase. Buzzy beat a shot clock, first place. Got 'em running plays like they running in a race. I just wanna ball. I just wanna ball.
Hello and welcome to the Women's Cut. I'm Jay. That's C-Way. Let's get started. So,
Hey.
C,
Yes.
did you catch the Grammys?
I did not.
Oh, the blackness that was on display. Kendrick won another album of the year, made everybody mad, or record of the year. Bad Bunny won album of the year. It made everybody.
I did hear he accepted it in Spanish. I heard that, and I love that.
In Spanish, and people were pissed.
I love that.
People, I mean white people.
Well, it's Black History Month, so they're allowed to be mad this month.
Listen, the collection of white tears during Black History Month just makes me feel so good. What also made me feel good is that Lauryn Hill led what I am 100% certain was produced by Raphael Saadiq, the most impressive tribute to D'Angelo and Roberta Flack that I have ever seen on any type of stage. They got all of the singing ass niggas, they got them all together. They said every single one of y'all. They had their stage was so packed. All they did was have Anthony Hamilton hit a run. That's all he did. Wow. He hit one run, and then here comes Leon Thomas, and then here comes Lettucey, and then it was stacked.
I gotta watch it. I know it's on YouTube somewhere.
It's on there.
It's on
Please
there.
Watch it. Watch that stream. Our forever first lady Michelle's becoming. This week, do all the black things.
I'm gonna try to lock in.
Speaking of locked in, I am partaking in a little Uncle Nearest. Dry January is over.
Dang, I don't have my drink. I do have this Coke that I shouldn't be drinking. I guess that's all I got. I'll do that.
Yes, do that. Speaking of Black History Month. My goodness. Speaking of Black History Month, the Chicago White Sox continue to disappoint me. Now, I know you're not a baseball girly. But
isn't it a Reinsdorf production, right?
You got it.
So I mean, I'm not. So carry on. What's going
on? You got it. So the White Sox did something very White Sox in forgetting their most famous, one would say, White Sox of all time, which is Frank Thomas. Now, personally, I am biased. My dog's name is Frank Thomas. That's how much I love Frank Thomas. I have 2 Frank Thomas baseball cards sitting up there on my shelf. They put out a Black history of the White Sox. They started with Minnie Minoso, who was their first Black player. He was Cuban, I do believe, but Afro-Cuban. And then they moved forward through their timeline. They talked about their first Black draft pick, but they did not talk about their first Black person to win MVP, which was Frank Thomas. They didn't talk about the 5-time All-Star Frank Thomas. They didn't talk about the Frank Thomas who has the most home runs of anybody in a White Sox uniform. They didn't talk about that Frank Thomas. And Frank Thomas was pissed. He went on the internet and he said, "How dare you? Reasonable." And the White Sox responded, "We was going to do it."
So why they into it? Why they into it? Because I don't know. Why you let me know. You know why they into it?
So Frank Thomas used to work for the White Sox. He used to do a lot of their play-by-play. He used to do after the game, him and Ozzy, they would sit there and talk about it. But he is not a person who is going to talk nice about a bad team.
Okay. And so there's nothing good to say right now, right?
There's nothing good to say, and he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to say what's wrong. He's going to be extremely critical. And the White Sox don't want to pay somebody who's going to be overly critical of their team. And now we have a division.
Okay.
So regardless of what that reasoning is, this is as if he's the Michael Jordan of the Chicago White Sox. And regardless of what happens with the Bulls, Michael Jordan brought them 6 championship rings. So
Right.
even if you mad at him, you can't leave him out of your history. And it's the same thing. Frank Thomas was the Chicago White Sox in the 1990s. He is so many people's favorite player. He is so many Justin Verlander, who was the pitcher for Detroit and other places, Hall of Famer in his own right, literally wore the number 45 because of Frank Thomas. So it's a slight. It's Black History Month, and I'm tired of people playing in our faces. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it seems like there's employment issues, and then there's like what he did on the field, and I feel like that should have been separated. But honestly, am I surprised about? I ain't surprised. I don't even know what's going on, and I ain't surprised.
Jerry Reinsdorf be Jerry Reinsdorf, man. I tell you.
Yeah, so look, you done taught me something, so you taught somebody else something that's going on. But
well, you about to teach me something, though, girl, because we about to talk about the Chicago Sky lawsuit.
Oh, hold on.
She said, let's take a sip. Let's take a sip. And a story that shouldn't be surprising to literally anyone.
Right. Before I get into it, there's a side conversation going on about the conversation, and that is why mainstream media is not covering this lawsuit, especially in the heart of the CBA negotiations. And I want to wake that one up. I think our expectations of the ESPNs and whoever else you guys are expecting to report on this needs to be modified. It needs to be modified and it needs to be adjusted. And what I would suggest is that you just support either the independent journalists or the local journals that are actually covering it, and be cool with that. Because the Chicago Tribune did cover it. The Sun-Times did cover it. And your girl Seaway covered it. You know what I'm saying? And so I would just say we're
gonna drop that Substack in the liner notes.
Yes, please. I covered it on my Substack. I covered it on my TikTok, and we're talking about it here. Yes, I think we just have to lock in with the folks that are actually covering it and support them. Now, what am I talking about? The Chicago Sky's owner, Michael Alter, is being sued by one of his minority owners, Stephen Rogers. He's actually a very successful Black man. Black History Month. During Black History Month, very successful Black man here in the Chicagoland area, businessman, entrepreneur. He knows what he's doing. Has made a lot of money, has invested a lot of money, and he's alleging that he has been shorted the money that is owed to him because Michael Alter, instead of actually paying its minority owners what they're supposed to be paid, he has been restructuring the organization single-handedly, pocketing and self-dealing allegedly, and kind of running off with the funds.
He ran off on the plug twice is what you're telling me.
Basically. So look, there's a court date coming up February 5th that I will be, monitoring, and I'm really interested to see what are the other minority kind of owners, where are they going to plug and play into this? Are any of them going to try to get involved in a lawsuit, file their own lawsuit? Are some of them going to sit back and just see how this all plays out? And, depending on what happens, if there's a forced sale, you can't really force a sale, but if there's an encouraged sale and settlement, or if there's a restructuring of the governance structure, maybe they're going to sit back and watch that. I don't know. But as of right now, it is only Stephen Rogers that has filed this lawsuit. Only one minority owner has filed this lawsuit, which I find to be interesting.
There's so many reasons that this makes me upset. Namely because we know that this team was founded in 2006. And this is when there was a large push for literal minority ownership in big business sports.
Mm-hmm.
So to use a person for the aesthetic of having a Black owner, and then to systematically cut that Black owner out of revenue, and also mismanage your own revenue to the point where you're building a facility. I'm using the word building loosely.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using the word you loosely, because the Sky are not building this facility.
Right. You can wake that up.
So you're building a facility that you can't pay for
or don't want to pay for.
Where's the money?
Right.
Where the money at? You know?
Or don't want to pay for.
Yeah.
I explained it like this, right? The all the owners that got in early, right? These 2006 owners and the minority owners, they all got their money back, right? They all got their money back. That's even in the complaint. But to decide to now reinvest that money back in, reinvest those profits back in to to build a facility to keep up with the standard that's in the W right now, is a choice that it doesn't seem like Michael Alter wants to make with the Chicago Sky, and that is the reason why we're having a partner with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, everybody, mama, cousin, sister, and them to go in to build this practice facility. And so at this juncture, it just appears that either you're going to reinvest those profits and also pay the minority, investors what they should be paid. And this is going off of the complaint. Or you need to sell the team and allow someone who doesn't mind taking that risk and investment and doing things properly. To me, this is very simple. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have investors and then, pursuant to the complaint, you're not paying them. You're restructuring to take in or profit more profits. And then even with those profits that may not all be yours, you're still not pouring it into the practice facility. You're still getting Bedford Park, as long as they're still willing to go in, to go half on a baby, if you will, on this practice facility.
Yeah.
And I also want to highlight that the complaint underscores the issues that the players have been experiencing throughout the years. And this is coming on the tail end of the star player receiving a half a game suspension for simply telling the truth about the organization.
That should have been a whistleblower law violation.
I mean,
if we keeping it a buck,
I mean, even covering the team, you're not allowed to say too much, do too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will be covering this closely. I wouldn't expect, though, for, big national media to jump on this.
Unless there's a financial disclosure of some sort that comes forth that's just like a straight up mismanaging of funds, that
the point they can't ignore it.
Yeah, that
right now it's just allegations. Yeah,
that elevates somewhere outside of civil, because that would elevate outside of civil. Then you're probably going to see some issues. But in the immortal words of the poet Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., where the cash at? That's what the issue is now.
Look. No, but off of that, I'll make sure to keep you guys posted on that. Make sure you look out for all further updates. But there's something really exciting that's happening tomorrow, and I think a lot of people aren't talking about it. And that's Athletes Unlimited, okay? Athletes Unlimited kicks off tomorrow, and I cannot be more excited. Their rosters have always been good, but the rosters this year, I mean, we got some people on Athletes Unlimited. Are you excited?
I'm excited, but I want to know who you're most excited about.
Okay, so there's so many. First of all, I want to say, prayers up for Kaiser Gondrzik. I was so excited. I was so excited for her to show what she got. And I'm really disappointed about that. I'm excited to see Sarah Ashley Barker get down with them. I'm excited to see Aerial Powers be back. Nalissa Smith is one of my faves. She's going to be playing. And then I'm really excited about the youngins: Tahina Pow Pow, Zaya Cook, Deja Kelly. I should have said Deja first. I'm so excited about Deja.
I'm happy for her. I'm happy for Bree Hall. I'm happy for all the girls who don't get no tick. I'm happy for don't get no WNBA tick. I'm happy for those because I feel like a lot of people, especially Deja, I feel like that's one of the conversations that was your bucket theory when we were talking about your bucket theory. One of the first conversations that we had was, I'm like, why is Deja Kelly not somewhere? Because if you can't tell me the Chicago Sky couldn't have used Deja Kelly with their no scoring behinds for several, if not most games.
Yeah, they definitely could have. But the thing about that's how like the price has went up. I'm looking at, first of all, the captains for this first week are Bria Hartley, Nalissa Smith, Lexi Brown, and Alicia Clark. But I'm looking at these rosters, and Athletes Unlimited was usually a place where women who had been in the W before or hadn't quite got there yet, maybe got training camp contracts. You would see a lot of them, and that would be really cool. So you would see a lot of players that can hoop, right? They can hoop, but they may not have done long since the W, maybe just training camps or they were overseas. This season, I mean, I'm going down the list. I mean, just in the first team in the Gold Rush, Bria Hartley starts. Isabel Harrison gets a lot of minutes. Odyssey Sims, a lot of minutes. Kia Stokes, Sarah Ashley Barker, Dory Harrison. Then there's Aerial Powers. Like, there's a couple on here. Yeah. But not much. I mean, Glow, Nalissa Smith, Tina Cross, Stack, Tahina Pow Pow, JC Sheldon, Emma Cannon, Zaya Cook, Deja Kelly.
Glow is stacked. I don't know. Based on this, like, I don't know who you're gonna keep or who you're not gonna keep. Because don't they rotate during?
Yeah, it depends on how they do and who emerges as the next, set of captains. But this is, I mean, the star power in Athletes Unlimited, and I forgot to mention Morrow. So excited to see Morrow down there, Anissa. The competition is stacked. I do want to make it down there to Nashville.
Nashville's a good time too.
Yeah.
You told me, speaking of traveling, you told me you made it down to Miami to see an Unrivaled game?
I did. I was able to make the January 31st game after the heels of that amazing time it looked like they had in Philly. More on that later. But being back down there in Unrivaled for the second year in a row, I got a chance to cover it, and they have expanded. There's more seats. They added more food, more activations. It's really it's great. It's great, honestly. Of course, when I went, I was there on the opening weekend of the inaugural season. So I'm not sure anything ever tops that, right? Yeah. Okay. But still, like, the love is there. It's so nice to see people. I was able to catch up with people who, who follow me on different platforms. It was great. It was definitely great.
Speaking of Philly, girl.
Yes.
Unrivaled doing something the 76ers can't do.
Have a stadium rocking. Can we start there?
Sell out?
Sell out. Have their star players play. We can add there.
Unrivaled breaking records. I think they said that they made something like $4 million just straight up and down off of Philly. And for the people who are saying that the numbers are dropping for Unrivaled and it's an unsubstantiated product, and I don't see how they're going to expand, and I don't see how they think that this is a good product. Unrivaled showed people some things.
They did. Mind you, if they wanted to scale up more aggressively, they could, but because they're good business women, they're scaling at a proper scale so they don't end up like Grand Slam track. Okay. And so They know what they're doing. And the fact that they're getting all of these people to the bottom of the map in Miami, and Miami already has very laissez-faire, lackadaisical sports fans. Look how they do the Heat. So the fact that you're getting people to come down to Miami anyway, it's expensive, it's far, and people are still coming down there, goes to show you that if they did go on a tour, if they did hit up Charlotte, if they went to Denver, Unrivaled in Denver that's another place I think the crowd would be rocking, right? So
I'm super excited to see what non-WNBA cities they expand to. I think Philly was honestly the perfect destination because they're getting a team. So right. I love that. I love them. That Philadelphia team is going to have hella support because Philadelphia folks are already crazy.
They're the best fans.
Crazy about their sport. So I'm super excited for what that looks like.
What about a Boston game?
Yo.
A Boston game would be bananas.
A Boston game would be bananas, especially since they wanted, that's where literally everybody wanted Connecticut to move down to Boston. And then we know what the WNBA did.
And there's nothing for like the New England folks.
And it's a crazy sports town too. And all they do is win there. It's a winning atmosphere. Exactly. So you know that any ownership group is going to be like, we know that between the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Patriots, it's just winning over there.
Right.
So they know that if they have an ownership group there, they can't be lax. Right. So while Unrivaled is hitting an all-time high, there's a couple people this week
that really been showing up and showing out.
That they have, but it's a couple of people this week that's been hitting an all-time low.
Oh. Look.
Sha'Carri and her mans them out here driving 120 in Florida, of all places.
Look, first of all, I don't play about Sha'Carri. Okay, I love Sha'Carri down, and Christian Coleman is just he's a cold, amazing sprinter. But it seems like them together has been either a streak of bad luck or just bad decision making all the way around. So if you're not aware, unfortunately, Sha'Carri was pulled over for driving 100 miles per hour in Florida. And the reason why she got caught is because she was cutting off the police, which is crazy. She gets pulled over, everyone's seen the body cam. And, when you're driving that fast, I'm just letting you guys know, it's not just Florida. You're going to get arrested for driving that fast, driving recklessly. She could have taken someone's life. That's very, very serious. And somehow Christian Coleman could have just stayed out of the mix. He was, according to the reports, is interfering with the arrest and the stop and end up dropping a little marijuana, according to the reports. And so he ended up being arrested as well for, resisting and drug paraphernalia. All I know is
black in Florida. Like, what are we doing? I understand you rich and you famous, but you're still African American in the state of Florida.
And we gotta move. We gotta move smart. I still think Sha'Carri definitely still has a lot in front of her. Christian Coleman is, still very much so a great athlete. I just don't want to see no more arrests from them. Neither one of them.
I just want them to be great. It's like when you want the best, like we all have like a cousin that just has like the most potential in the world, and you just want the best for your cousin, and your cousin is always just doing something.
Yeah.
They're always just into something they're not supposed to be into. And that's what Sha'Carri reminds me of. Honestly, because it's like we're all rooting for you, girl. Like, we want you to be successful. We want you to be the story of, I came from this traumatic background. I had a toxic environment, but I've grown and I've moved past it. And that's where I'm at now. We want that to be her. I thought when she got that gold medal, that we was gonna get past this. That's what I thought.
And she definitely looked like she was making a lot of progress, but I do think you have to make sure that you're around people that are bringing out the best in you, and you guys are bringing out the best in each other.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, even in that car where she was going 100 miles per hour, is Christian Coleman saying don't go that fast, or is he not thinking nothing about it?
No.
Like, there, you have to have people that are going to make sure they are reminding you of everything that you have to lose, everything they both have to lose.
I was gonna say, because if he not thinking about her, he could at least been thinking about himself.
Exactly. So I don't know what type of conversations they're having and what they're doing, but they both have a lot to lose, and I just hope they keep that in mind, because I don't think anybody wants to see them in the news anymore.
No, we're rooting for everybody Black over here, and so
exactly,
I need that to move forward. Speaking of rooting for everybody Black,
yes.
Who's your leading lady this week?
Gosh, so my leading lady is a legend. Okay, she's a legend. She's a coach. She has been inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. She was part of the inaugural class of the WNBA in 1997. She's a New York legend, Liberty legend, an all-time assist leader in the W. I mean, none other than Teaspoon, okay? And first of all, if anybody knows anything about me, they know that I don't play about Teaspoon. When the Chicago Sky let go of Teaspoon last year, or technically after 2024, after that year, I never let it go. It didn't sit right in my spirit. It felt wrong. It felt like a Black woman wasn't done right. And I just refused to let it go. And then when I saw Teaspoon handle that situation with so much grace, and she was just on the Unapologetically Angel podcast, just talking about, you know, what she went through and how she wanted to make sure that she handled it the best way that she could. I just feel like Teresa Weatherspoon, not only is she a legend because of what she did on the court, but also the way that she has handled adversity. And most importantly, the way that she pours into her players. Not only did she pour into her players when she was on the Pelicans, she poured into Angel and the young players when she was on the Sky. I just sat in and saw her pouring into Ray Burrell when I was down there in Unrivaled. Really just picking her up, lifting her up, reminding her who she could be. And everyone needs a Teaspoon in your life. Everyone needs someone who's going to root for you, someone who's going to make the main thing, someone who's going to just really remind you of who you are each and every day. So Teaspoon's a legend, and until folks do right by her, I don't know if good things are going to come to them. Because when you do wrong by one of God's people, by someone that really just pours nothing but positivity out there, a lot of time you don't get a lot of positivity back. So Teaspoon is my leading lady, and she's just phenomenal.
I'm Black History Month. It's Black History Month.
It's Black History Month.
This week, I'm going on the same vein as we stand in Unrivaled Coaches. My leading lady this week is the championship coach from the Rosebuds of Unrivaled, Nola Henry. So Nola Henry was a certified bucket in college. She graduated. She decided that she wanted to coach. She was a graduate assistant for a few years. She moved on to start with the Connecticut Sun as a assistant coach, actually assistant basketball operations, moved on to the Sparks, and then was a player development coach there. If you know anything about the W, player development coach is supposed to be how you it's supposed to be an easy conduit into head coaching, as we know from our head coach of the Chicago Sky currently. She was slighted. She wasn't offered any of the open positions that she was very rightly qualified for in the WNBA. But here comes Unrivaled. They offered her a position. She is one of several African-American coaches within the Unrivaled system. And then she won. She took a team that started really, really slow, and she coached them into a championship. And we were speaking about this a little bit earlier, but I get super upset that it's a lot easier for men to coach women than it is for women to coach women on a professional level. It's a lot easier for them to get those jobs. They do not need the same level of qualifications. They do not need the same amount of time in the systems. It's as if they've added this extra hurdle when for a woman who plays basketball, you would think that it would be a very easy transition or easier transition into coaching other women who play basketball. So we were speaking about this previously, Seaway, and I am going to run down Chris DeMarco. Chris DeMarco was just hired for the New York Liberty head coaching position. I'm going to run down his qualifications. Assistant for the Golden State Warriors. Head coach for Bahamas men's basketball. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Nola Henry, graduate assistant for Fairleigh Dickinson, graduate assistant for Hartford, intern for Connecticut Sun, assistant basketball operations manager, Connecticut Sun, player development, Los Angeles Sparks, assistant coach at Los Angeles Sparks. Now she's an assistant for the Dallas Wings, and she's the head coach for Rose Basketball. How is that not a resume for somebody in today's WNBA?
Because inherently we don't view the W as prestigious or as important. And so being an assistant in the NBA, whether you're a man coach, a woman coach, or a man coach, right? If you have made it to a level where you're an assistant coach in the NBA, that matters more. It actually matters more, unfortunately, than being an assistant at the job that you're applying for.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, and it's that's the world we're in right now.
I don't like that.
That's the world we're in. And the crazy part is I think there's this idea that the WNBA is a safe space for women, and that's, where women would shine. But, even me thinking back, and I had to think back myself, I never had a woman head coach. The entire time I was playing anything, actually. And I don't know, it just hit me, and I start to think, I'm like, this is even kind of new that women are starting to even coach other women, getting the opportunities to coach other women. I'm like, wait, in middle school, I had a male coach.
Yeah.
7th grade and 8th grade. High school, male coach, freshman, sophomore, senior, and junior. And then on the track side, I had all male coaches. And then when I went to college for women's track and field, I had male coaches. And I thought about it, I'm like, I actually have never had a woman coach ever. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's wild to me. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, we're sitting in the heart of we're not in the heart, but we're in the beginning of Black History Month, and it's like we've come so far, but we have so far. We have so far to go.
And there's other stuff that we have really far to go with as well. It looks like unfortunately these negotiations with the WNBA and the WNBPA are very far apart.
Absolutely. So that brings a very important question. When do you pull the plug?
When you're comfortable, when you're ready, when everyone is prepared to stand with the consequences and the fallout. I mean, when for you, what do you think?
I think unfortunately you might have to, in order for negotiations to move where they're going to go, because that's going to be the only way that you're going to get folks to disentangle the money. As right now, they're not going to disentangle the money, and that's going to take time. And for them to not even show, again, we're going back to my me being upset about folks not reading the source material. They didn't even read the source material. They didn't come back with a counter proposal. They didn't come back with notes. They didn't put no they ain't had no highlighter. They ain't had no highlighter. You know what I'm saying? They ain't writing the margins. They didn't do any of that stuff. How do you show up to a negotiation and you're like, I ain't read it, or I read it and I don't feel nothing about it? It's like going to the book club and you ain't read the book. What's the point of that? You're showing up for snacks?
Right. You came in, just for, everyone's understanding, the WNBA and the WNBA's Players Association that represents the players, they had a meeting on Monday. The last side to present a proposal was the WNBPA, right? And they were expecting that the WNBA would bring a counter proposal to the meeting for them to discuss. Unfortunately, they came empty-handed, and for 3 hours, they had to kind of deal with that. And, it was a conversation that was had on the WNBA side. They felt like the proposal that the PA actually presented wasn't much different than the other one, so they felt like they did not have to respond, whatever. But what's more concerning is the fact that after the meeting, it seems like they were sending information about their previous proposal to ESPN, so that could be leaked to the public. And so they can let us know that there was going to be, amongst other things, broader access to family planning, developmental positions on the actual spots on the actual roster, complimentary tickets to All-Star, and even free WNBA League Pass.
What?
And look,
League Pass costs $25.99.
Yeah, and that was mentioned.
First of all, why is it already not free?
Then they also leaked that there, super maxes by 2031 could be 2.4 million. An average player salary would be about 1 million. Here's the thing. Everything is going up. The media rights deal is going up. All the money is going up. I'm not impressed by an average salary of $1 million when you're signing media rights deals for the WNBA for millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? And even that, to me, was negotiated too low, but they're going to renegotiate, and I promise you their price is going up. But what's concerning me, and the reason why I feel like they may want to strike and move to look into legal options sooner than later, the reason why the WNBA doesn't want to move and they don't want to budge is because the way the money is entangled. Yeah. When 42% of the W is owned by the NBA, 42% is actually owned by the W or its owners, and 16% is owned by outside investors. It isn't as financially, sound to be able to do what the Players Association are asking for, which is actually they want their money before deductions are coming out.
Yeah,
which is fair because that's what the NBA does. But the NBA is 100% owned by the NBA. Nobody else has their hands in the pot. And so until the W figures out a way to untangle this whole convoluted structure, they're not in the position or wanting to give the players what they want. So somebody's going to have to move. And like you said, are you going to voluntarily come up off of that? Not without any real pressure. They're going to have to apply pressure. This isn't it.
The NBA had to have a work stoppage in order to get it. So the MLB had to have a work stoppage in order
NFL filed lawsuits,
had to have a work stoppage. NHL had to have a work stoppage. There is no major league in this country that did not have to have a work stoppage in order to get what they wanted. And once I think it's going to come up it's going to come up to the teams that are making money for them to be like, look, because I know for a fact the Liberty and the Aces and the Valkyrie,
they don't want no stoppage.
They don't want no stoppage. They want all that money. They want every single dollar because they're profitable enterprises. And now you're messing with my bottom line for what? When we all could be getting this money.
And on top of the fact that you're mentioning 3 teams: the Liberty, the Valkyries,
and Aces.
And the Aces. So not the Aces, but the Liberties and the Valks are already getting NBA money.
Yeah, that's true.
It actually makes sense for them to be like, look, I think the NBA side, their percentage needs to be reduced. So we can properly get this done.
To move on to a way better product.
Right.
I want to go back to talking about my favorite crash out girl. Marina with the 47 on their heads.
Showtime Mabrey.
With the 47 on their heads, baby. When she hit that 3 at the end of that first quarter to go to 27 points, I was like, is she gonna drop a 50 ball on us? I was on the edge of I could not imagine being in that stadium. And they said that the stadium itself is an hour from where she grew up, so I knew she was turned up.
Oh, so she was putting on.
She was putting on for sure, and I was just like, I really wanted the last shot. She made the last shot of the game, but the shot before that was a 3. The way that the entire stadium was on their feet, like if that 3 would have dropped. Yo, she had 10 made threes. That's a WNBA record. She set a record for most field goals made. She had a pretty high shooting percentage. And then she set a record for most points by a WNBA player. And that is coming on the back of De'Erica Hamby giving us a 40 ball. And the story that we're not talking about is Shakira.
Yeah, Shakira also, I mean, she not only did she have a good game that game, I mean, she's been going crazy ever since. The way her game, I think she wants people to talk about her. She wants people to know that she's like that. And if you don't know, now you know. She's healthy. She's staying healthy. And she's a really great basketball player. But look, Marina, there's something about a basketball player that when they see the lights on, they get brighter. The brighter the lights, the better Marina plays.
Yes.
And that, I mean, not a lot of people are like that. Some people run from the light. Marina runs to it. Talk about a show.
Yo, when she did that little ball fake, and Shakira is not a slouch on defense.
Yeah.
When she did the little dark ball fake to the stat, I was like, oh, she out here hooping. Baby was hooping. It was like when she did the step through to the finger roll, I was like, what are we doing? Marina.
She's on another planet.
Yo, she was killing it. And one thing I do appreciate about her is she gonna crash out regardless. They was up 20 points and she threw a punch. It ain't land. I remember last week I said she ain't gonna throw no punch. I lied. She definitely threw a punch, but it was an extremely enjoyable game. It was an extremely enjoyable product. Those games in Philly, I know we talked about it, but those games in Philly looked like so much fun. It made me wish that I had flown to Philly and gotten a ticket. I wanted to be there. It seemed like just such an amazing, like that's the type of thing that I can just imagine. Like a kid somewhere, and that's their formative basketball experience.
You would love women's basketball.
You're gonna love women's basketball. If you a hooper anyway, you love women's basketball.
Yeah.
But you're gonna like that. If that's your formative experience, you're a fan for life.
Agreed.
So let's talk about a very uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
And it's something that we really do need to talk about. I would consider you a journalist, Seaway. I would consider you a journalist. You report. You generally give an unbiased opinion. You do not hold back. And you operate in a way where you're not afraid of your free speech being violated. And we live in a country where that is a guarantee from not only being a U.S. citizen, but being on U.S. soil.
Right.
Free speech applies specifically to the government. Everybody loves to say, oh, everybody has free speech. Not everybody has free speech. Free speech is a government thing. You have the ability to say whatever you want, and your government cannot prosecute you for doing that. Right?
Exactly.
There's no consequences for you speaking out against the government from the government.
And it was our First Amendment right. The founding fathers said that's the most important thing.
First Amendment right.
That was the most important thing. That was at the top of mind, okay?
Yeah. When Ben had that little quill, he said, let me write this down first. Now, where are we at? Don Lemon. I'm
glad he was in and out. But the fact that multiple federal judges, he didn't have enough. They said there wasn't enough. And the complicated thing is, and it's come up in many different contexts, about, what is journalism? Where is the line? But to me, Don Lemon has always been a journalist. He's always operated with journalistic integrity. I think it was very clear that he was not, engaging in a protest. He was, it wasn't, stopping a church service. He was actually doing his job. And the scariest thing is that, that's supposed to be protected.
Yeah.
And so it's scary.
I mean, we're living in a country now where I saw somebody post online. Now, online is a cesspool in general.
Right.
And I saw somebody post online something like, if you were president, wouldn't you be upset if half the country was yelling at you all the time? And I thought, there's never been a time when, as president, half of the country wasn't yelling at you.
I was about to say, it's all the time.
It's happened. It happened. Literally, they would yell at them because they knew them. George Washington be walking down the street and people be yelling at him in his face.
And you're never going to make everybody happy.
Never. It's about doing what's best for the majority. And right now, this country isn't doing what's best for the majority, because what's best for the majority right now is education and independent research and having media literacy and understanding if what somebody's telling to you is the truth or not, because you're able to independently verify that by different sources, different newspapers, different outlets, different journalists who don't have a biased opinion. And if they do have a biased opinion, I know I can get this biased opinion and this biased opinion and make my own mind up. And it's so scary to live in a country where we can't have that conversation without is that going to make the next journalist think twice about telling that story? Yes.
That's the goal.
And that's the goal.
Yeah. So, we just have to, one thing that we do know is that everything passes. This seems like it's taken a long time, but that's all we can really hope. And I'm really proud of Don for, fighting the good fight and not, recoiling back. And I pray that his community and his circle stay strong around him.
Shout out to having a husband that don't play about him
at all. Okay, he's not playing about him at all. His face was very serious.
Listen, white people, use your privilege for good.
Okay, he fed up. He fed the F up. So As he should be.
I just want us to understand how important this year is for our democracy in general. No matter what your thought process is, no matter where you fall, think about what country you want to leave to your children, and what rights do you want them to have.
Unfortunately, a lot of people want to leave a country that doesn't have people who look like us in it.
And even if they want to leave it to them, their kids not gonna have the right to exist, because it don't matter if you black. Now it don't matter if you black or white. And the immortal words of the poet Michael Jackson, it don't matter if you black or white.
That's not how they thinking. Somehow some of these people still think they're exempt. You can't help them. But if you do have sense, I agree. If you have sense, realize, really take a long, hard think and think over this and what you really want your nation, the nation that you live in, your future kids and offspring to live in, what you want it to look like. But anyway, on a positive note, Jay, what are you excited about?
I've started my Oscar Blitz. So this is a time period where I watch the movies that I have not seen so that I can have a very informed decision. It's still going to be biased. I still want Sinners to win everything. But I want to be able to understand why people voted against my best interest personally.
Okay.
So I am excited. I have tickets to go see Hamnet. I saw One Battle After Another. I've seen Frankenstein. So I have some other ones, and I love watching the documentaries. If you haven't seen Perfect Neighbor, highly recommend. It's very upsetting, but it's a great documentary, and a black man made it. So I'm excited for the Oscars, and I'm starting my little movie blitz. So I'm very excited to hang out with my dog Frank Thomas, who I don't disrespect during Black History Month, and watch movies. How about you?
Let's see. I'm excited about a few things. I'm excited to start my half marathon training. I had to miss a lot of stuff last year because of my foot, and so I do have arthritis in my foot still, but that ain't gonna stop no show. We're gonna do that. I am excited to watch Bridgerton. It's out, and I have not watched it.
Me either.
Okay, so yeah, we gotta watch that. And I'm ready to love Reunion Part 2 comes on Friday. Excited to watch that. The clips have been bananas, and Love Is Blind is back, and I already know it's going to be some shenanigans. And
I'm also excited about my nails. I got Black History nails.
I love that. So you got Black History nails, and I got.
These are the places we are in our lives. You're happily married. I'm black as hell. That's where we're at.
Look, the combo though works. The combo. But anyway, look, don't be mad at us for nothing that we said today, because we ain't even said too much. Just be happy that you made the cut. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.